Good evening, friends. Ash here, WAT News. It's December the 10th, 2020, and I caught some interesting articles and I wanted to check out some stuff about China. So I figured I would make another video. I just watched that 1,000 Pieces video that I posted. It was really good. I thought it was a well done documentary style, and I thought it showed a lot of information. I thought it could have been a little longer and gone into some other stuff, but I understand what they were trying to do and basically set up a sort of, a bunch of topics and cover a wide variety of stuff without getting too lost in the woods, right? So well done on that. Good job. And I found that online, and I just wanted to get it up there so people could watch it. So I caught this out of Newsmax. Records still not available for 500,000 Georgia absentee ballots by Jeffrey Rodak. Thursday, December 10th. Documents necessary to establish the chain of custody for more than 83% of the estimated 600,000 Georgia absentee ballots placed in drop boxes by voters and subsequently delivered to local election officials still have not been produced by state or county officials. The Georgia Star News noted that the Georgia Election Code emergency rule mandates that every county is responsible for documenting the transfer of absentee ballots picked up at drop boxes. The digital newspaper had sent out an open records request for the ballot transfer forms to 77 of Georgia's 159 counties. Bartow, Cobb, Clark, and Cook counties provided the transfer forms. And the Star News noted a preliminary review of the forms provided by Cobb County indicated there were problems documenting the chain of custody. The four counties had accounted for about 100,000 of the estimated 600,000 absentee ballots placed in drop boxes, or about 16.6%. 10 counties told the newspaper they did not have drop boxes. 60 counties did not respond to the paper's request. Other counties were either investigating whether such records existed or told the paper they would make the information available at a later date. The newspaper said it appears that state officials do not plan to take any actions to avoid a repeat of chain of custody questions for absentee ballots placed in drop boxes ahead of the January 5th Senate runoffs. Georgia is one of four states being sued by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. The suit filed with the U.S. Supreme Court claims the states exploited the pandemic to justify ignoring election laws. That seems to be where it's going, right? You changed your state's law, Pennsylvania, you changed your state's law, Article 77, and you did so illegally, and therefore you disenfranchise not just your own voters of your state, but all the other states as well. And that's a powerful argument that I think is going to go somewhere, because not only that, you have all these other states joining in, and you even have, I think people from the Pennsylvania legislature actually joined in on Texas's side, which is pretty amazing. So this story also is starting to break out, and I'm not sure of the validity yet if Fang was Christine Fang. I call her Fang because that's what her nickname was, apparently. Christine Fang, where we're now talking about her and Eric Swalwell. Did he get caught up in a Chinese honeypot situation where a possible Chinese spy was either infiltrated his office or was placed there with an intern? And if this is true, then you had a alleged Chinese spy on your payroll, and you were sleeping with her as well. So it's not looking good for Swalwell. And he was one of the biggest guys out there pushing all kinds of stuff against Trump, or if you remember, accusing him of all kinds of stuff without much evidence, right? So maybe this is his just desserts, as they say, right? Karma's a bitch. So we'll see how this plays out. Was suspected Chinese spy Christine Fang on the DNC payroll by Natalie Dagenhart, December 10th, 2020, coming out of Right Journalism. A suspected Chinese intelligence operative developed extensive ties with local and national politicians, including a U.S. congressman, in what U.S. officials believe was a political intelligence operation run by China's main civilian spy agency between 2011 and 2015. Axios found in a year-long investigation. Axios broke the story on Fang, alleging she had sexual and romantic relationships with two unnamed Midwestern mayors, including one in Ohio. She also forged political connections with a host of local and national politicians, among them a U.S. congressman, according to Axios. Representative Eric Swalwell, Democrat from California, is refusing to say if he had sex with an accused Chinese spy who cozied up to a slew of U.S. elected officials, including him, in a bid to infiltrate the U.S. political system. The 40-year-old congressman was among a group of Bay Area Democrats targeted by the honey trap, also known as Christine Fang. Fang, accused of being an operative for China's Ministry of State Security, the country's top intelligence organization, first interacted with Swalwell when he served on the Dublin City Council in California, according to Politico. In 2012, Swalwell defeated longtime Democratic incumbent Rep. Pete Stark, a stunning upset that made him a star member of the incoming freshman class. A couple of years later, Fang was reportedly bundling donor checks for Swalwell's re-election campaign and also helped place an intern in his office, according to the Axios report, which cited current and former U.S. intelligence officials. There is no evidence of any illegal contributions being made, and Federal Election Commission records don't indicate that Fang made any donations. Foreign nationals are prohibited from making U.S. political donations. As the New York Post reported, while Swalwell said he has cut off all contacts with Fang, his father Eric and brother Joshua still have the honey trap listed as a friend on their Facebook pages. And she shared a 2016 post from Joshua that linked to a video of him and his congressman brother. Also, another so-called conspiracy emerged surrounding Fang. If you enter Christine Fang's name while searching OpenSecrets.org from the 2016 election cycle that's based on Federal Election Commission data, you get this. Democratic Party expenditures, Christine Fang, $1,274, 5 times, $650. So it looks like she was being paid from October the 14th of 2016 as far ahead as it looks like 12/1/16. So she was given money in that period. And this was salary. So if it's salary, then she's on the payroll, it looks like, right? And this was for auto travel. So the numbers on the page are based on contributions from PACs, 11 money donors, and individuals giving $200 or more, as reported to the Federal Election Commission. This could be a different person, especially considering the date, as she reportedly left our country in 2015. So we don't know if this is her. So we'll leave it there. We'll have to wait for more information. It's a little too sketchy right now. But it looks like he has a problem, right? Especially if she then fled the country. If she was, possibly going to get discovered, who knows, right? So we'll have to see how this all plays out. It looks like Swalwell's getting sweated pretty hard, and there's an investigation into him. And here's the article: Eric Swalwell's brother, dad, finally unfriend Chinese spy. So I guess they got the message from Eric, like, listen, you better unfriend her. I'm in trouble over here, possibly, right? So see how that plays out with him. He's a small fry. Here's a video about some more about the spy. You could watch this if you want. It's not too long.
Hey folks, welcome back here to Just the News AM. I'm Carrie Sheffield, and glad you're with us. Let's talk about China. Joining me here is Gordon Chang. He's an expert on all things China, and he's author of the book called The Coming Collapse of China. Good morning, Gordon.
Good morning, Carrie.
So I want to get right into this news. It just seems something out of a movie or a spy novel, but reportedly a Chinese spy worked as a fundraiser for Congressman Eric Swalwell. Now, Eric also ran for president in the Democratic primary this go-round, and reportedly he had an intimate relationship with a woman named Christine Fang, who helped raise money for him, and it turns out she is a spy. She is part of a Chinese local intelligence operation. And there have just been lots of red flags going up about this, and the congressman has said that she left the country in 2015. He hasn't been in contact with her for years, for half a decade at this point. Should we believe him?
Well, Christine Fang has left the U.S. She apparently left abruptly, which is an indication that she was working with Chinese intelligence. And it was not just Eric Swalwell she was in contact with. She was in contact with about 3 or 4 other members of Congress, and a couple of Midwestern mayors apparently she's had sexual relationships with. China's intelligence operations in the U.S. are massive. They're directed against both parties, and really what we have got to do is have a national conversation about how we end this. And this very well may be something we need to start closing more Chinese consulates, because Christine Fang was actually working with and out of the San Francisco consulate of China.
Okay, so you can see that we got a problem, right? You're starting to see more and more stuff come out about China, right? And it was always talking about Russia, Russia, Russia for so long, but really it's like the whole thing with in The Godfather, right? When the Godfather says no, it was Bazzini all along, right? See, he had made a miscalculation, just like we had in the past, but it really wasn't a miscalculation in my view. It was selling out of America slowly by the Obama administration, especially, where I'll start to show you how major things were sold out from under us, right? Major parts of our infrastructure there were attempts made to sell certain things. One was the Port of Long Beach sale, right? If you remember, I remember seeing this and I said to myself, how could you do that? How could you sell basically the largest port in the whole West Coast that's a huge part of your country's infrastructure to a foreign asset, to a foreign country that's your adversary? So on May 7, 2019, this article came out from American thinker Chris Street. Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security has forced China's state-owned Costco to sell the Port of Long Beach over security concerns. China's Costco Shipping Holdings, which bought out its 75% owned Hong Kong-based Orient Overseas International OOCL, was forced to sell its Port of Long Beach container terminal ownership to Macquarie Infrastructure Partners for $1.78 billion. The Obama administration had no problems with OOCL signing a 40-year lease with the city of Long Beach in 2012 for control of America's second largest and most automated container handling operation. The sweetheart deal was part of the Middle Harbor Redevelopment Program to fund a $1.5 billion expansion through 2020. But one of the first major actions of the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security in March 2017 was issuing a Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S. National Security hold on Costco's acquisition of a former U.S. Navy port facility. China operates 6 of the world's 10 busiest container ports. Chinese government has also funded the construction and operations of 43 ports in 35 countries under its One Belt, One Road OBOR initiative launched 5 years ago, according to China's Ministry of Transport. As part of its efforts to gain asset dominance, China has directed its state-owned companies to exclusively buy products and services from other Chinese state-owned enterprises. As a result, China International Marine Containers Group has become the world's largest maker of shipping containers, and Shanghai Zhenhua Heavy Industries has gained a 70% international market share for port cranes and now exports to 300 ports in 100 countries. Under the Macquarie acquisition terms, Orient Overseas International will pocket a $1.29 billion profit and still control vessel and rail traffic at the container facilities for the next 20 years. So you can see, as soon as Trump got in, he realized the strategic importance of that port, and he forced he forced China out. I mean, he didn't fully get them out. I guess they still have some control, but not as much. Also, I was trying to find out, I had read that there was a large Texas real estate purchase of 180,000 acres by China, but I couldn't verify it. But I came across this from CNN Business, October the 26th, 2015, right? So we're still in Obama's time. Chinese company to buy Texas oil fields in $1.3 billion deal. The Chinese investment firm is shelling out $1.3 billion to buy giant oil fields in Texas, reflecting growing interest from China and U.S. energy resources. Yantai Jinchao will acquire oil assets in the western Texas Permian Basin that are currently owned by Toll City Exploration and Plymouth Petroleum. The deal is part of a larger transaction between Yantai Jinchao and a second Chinese firm, according to its stock exchange filing on Saturday. So you can see that what Obama was doing was he was selling out our major infrastructures. He was allowing companies to move from the United States to China, right, and produce their products there, losing a lot of manufacturing jobs, and even told the people, if you remember, that's never coming back, right? He was telling people. And the reason it was never coming back was because he was going to make sure that it never came back. And on top of that, then China was allowed to dump inferior steel into our markets, and Obama then made some of our weaponry with that inferior steel, right? So, and other things with that inferior steel. So Trump made it so that they're not allowed to do that anymore. That if they're going to dump inferior steel and they just dump steel in the market, they're going to have to pay a surcharge now over the top, right? They're going to be charged for it, and it's not worth their time to do it anymore like they were. Even in New York, right? Chinese company bought one of the most historic New York hotels, Waldorf Astoria. That went down October the 6th, 2014, right? Right in the middle of Obama's term again, allowing more assets to be sold out from us. Hilton Worldwide is selling the Waldorf to New York to Chinese insurance company Anbang Insurance for $1.95 billion. Also, right, we have Feinstein, who might be compromised with the spy who drove her, right? She had a Chinese driver for 20 years that's, now they're worried about, is this person possibly a spy as well that compromised her? And so we'll have to see how all these things play out, I wanted to just check Gateway. Oh, I saw another cool article about the quantum computer, so I might as well just cover it real quick. Quantum computer beats supercomputer. Yeah, it was a Chinese computer, I thought. Wait. Yeah, China's quantum computer, Zhuzhang, beats Google's supercomputer. And this is where we're like at the dawn of quantum right now. Basically, it's coming, and we're gonna start seeing like the quantum voting system come in soon, and the quantum financial system, quantum education system, like everything's going quantum at the same time. And China's quantum computer Zhuzhang beats Google's supercomputer by far. This is from Basic Tutorials. With the new Zhuzhang system, China wants to have made considerable progress in quantum computing. The new system is apparently to be 10 billion times faster than the quantum computer presented by Google in 2019. Last year, Google presented the prototype of a quantum computer. This is said to be the first time that quantum superiority has been achieved. This was tested with a task for which even the most powerful supercomputer would have needed 10,000 years. Google's quantum computer, called Sycamore, with its 53 qubits, probably solved this task in just 200 seconds. The Chinese researchers are now said to have used their system to produce a computer that is 10 billion times faster than Google's Sycamore. Quantum computer Zhuzhang. According to the researchers, the Chinese quantum computer provides up to 100 trillion times faster computing power than the most powerful supercomputer. The Zhuzhang runs on a photon basis. The data were determined on the basis of a single special calculation. In this case, it was the Gaussian boson sampling. Unfortunately, it is not yet possible to use the quantum computer for other methods. However, only for the achievement of quantum superiority, this is already sufficient. The development of the new system took almost 20 years. The quantum physicist Pan Jianwei and Chinese researchers were involved. The challenge during the development was probably to find a very high-quality photon source which only releases one single photon at a time. For quantum physicist Jianwei, the search for a suitable photon source was particularly important. So, I just wanted to cover that real quick. We're at the dawn of quantum, and we're going to see it real soon, I think. And I'm starting to hear more stuff about the med beds coming out next year sometime. And maybe replicator tech too, like, the industrial sized replicators too that can make houses and make, big pieces of equipment and make machines and other things. So, we'll see how everything goes, guys. We're at the dawn of like a new age, and all this stuff is happening all at the same time. And we have the the election and everything else is just kind of one part of a larger equation that we're dealing with here, you know. But I think it's an exciting time. I think it's, you know, a time where you still need to stay in your center space, though, most importantly, right? You know, observe without judgment, right? Observe without emotion, and just know that we're headed towards, you know, better days and a better world. And yeah, you know, we're coming out of this age of a dark age, where it was a long dark age, and now we're going to head into a long age of light. So it's exciting. It's scary a little bit for some people. It's you know, full of emotion, and just the best thing we could do is stay in our center and just observe it and get our popcorn out. And yeah, so I just wish everybody a nice evening, and if I get any more news, which there always is, we'll be reporting it back to you. So this is Ash, WAT News, signing off for now.